Vishnu-Paadaadi-Keshanta-Stotram, Shloka 44. पीठीभूतालकान्तं कृतमकुटमहादेवलिङ्गप्रतिष्ठे लालाटे नाट्यरङ्गे विकटतरतटे कैटभारेश्चिराय प्रोद्घाट्यैवात्मतन्द्रीप्रकटपटकुटीं प्रस्फुरन्ती स्फुटाङ्गं पट्वीयं भावनाख्यां चटुलमतिनटी नाटिकां नाटयेन्नः. अन्वयः. पीठीभूत अलकान्तं कृतमकुट महादेवलिंग प्रतिष्ठे कैटभारेः विकटतरतटे लालाटे नाट्यरङ्गे नः इयं चटुलमतिनटी पट्वी आत्मतन्द्री प्रकटपटकुटीं प्रोद्घाट्य एव स्फुटाङ्गं प्रस्फुरन्ती भावना आख्यां नाटिकां चिराय नाटयेत्. Essentially, this is a prayer seeking that our intellect may continuously evolve by meditating on Bhagavan's forehead, which is identified with the Tapolokaha in the cosmic form. Lord Vishnu's broad forehead is first mentioned. So we'll look at the meaning. Kaitabharehe vikatataраtate. Here Lord Vishnu is mentioned by the word Kaitabharehe, the one who is the enemy of the Asura Kaitabha. Vikatataраtate, on the very broad. What is very broad? Lalate, the forehead. So it is looked upon as a Natya Range, dance stage. So on the very broad forehead of Lord Vishnu, which is looked upon as a dance stage, Pithi Bhuta Alakantam, the roots of the curled hair, the mass of hair, is perceived as a pedestal because it is just above the forehead. So just above the dance stage on a pedestal, Krita Makuta Mahadevalinga Pratishthe. Krita Makuta, the crown which is there is looked upon as Mahadeva Linga. In other words, the crown is placed on the mass of hair. So that is perceived as the idol of Shivalinga, which is Pratishthe, installed. Then Naha Iyam Chatula Mati Nati Patvi. Naha Iyam means this our very Chatula, very swift, and Patvi, very proficient, Nati, female dancer, which is the Mati, the intellect. So the intellect is equated to the very swift and proficient female dancer. What is she doing? Prodghatya eva, upon removing Atmatandri prakata patakutim. Upon removing the Atmatandri means the laziness which is there in oneself. And then by removing that laziness, which is compared to a curtain, patakuti, there will be a curtain on the stage. So removing the curtain, the dancer is coming onto stage. So here the curtain is laziness. On removing that curtain of laziness, prakata, something is made very visible. What is that? Sputangam praspuranti. This dancer has come onto stage and she is very vividly showing all her physical gestures. And what are those gestures? Bhavana Akhyam Natikam. The gestures are the enactment of what is known as bhavana. Bhavana form in the drama which is known as natika. So, Chiraya Natayet means may she enact such a dance drama for a length of time. Now, looking at the meaning as a whole, Lord Vishnu's broad forehead is figuratively described as a wide, big stage for dance. Then, the crown which is adorning the head is just above the forehead. So, that is equated to the idol Shivalingam, which is placed usually in the prominent upper part of the dance stage. Bharata Muni in Natya Shastra, he has mentioned that dance is a form of worship and it is said to be performed in the presence of Devatas. Lord Shiva as Nataraja is the governing deity for dance forms. So in a dance hall, placing the idol of Nataraja is a tradition that is followed. Accordingly, in this shloka, Bhagavad Pada says that Lord Vishnu's forehead is the stage above which the root of the mass of hair which begins is conceived as the pedestal on which Shivalingam, which is in the form of crown, is installed. Then, on such a dance stage like forehead, our mental lethargy towards spiritual practices is conceived as a curtain or veil. So, behind that curtain is lying covered our intellect, that is the buddhi vritti. So, the intellectual thought forms are conceived as the play known as Natika. Then, buddhi, the intellect itself, is the female dancer. She is said to remove the curtain of lethargy and perform the dance on the forehead stage. This means she has to show her gestures very skillfully and the content also must be very clearly presented. So then what is the content of the gestures? The shloka says, Bhavana Akhyam Natikam. Akhyam means known by the name. Bhavana. This Bhavana is a very significant expression. It means Jnana Janya Samskaraha. And this is explained in detail in Vishnu Purana. Here I will tell you in brief what it means. The mental impressions of understanding, that is by a process of inquiry, the self-knowledge which is born and it is there as impressions in the mind. Now here in particular it implies the formation of a fixed idea, a vritti, by the sadhaka of the object of his contemplations. In other words, an understanding of the being or existence itself, that is Sat Vastu, the thing that is contemplated upon. So, may all our thought forms focus on meditating on the forehead of Lord Vishnu. Then, such a meditation itself is said to be the gestures of the dance form. In this shloka, Lord Vishnu is mentioned as Kaitabhari, which signifies that meditating on such a Lord Vishnu's forehead will clean the mind of its impurities, which are Kama, Krodha, Mada, Lobha, Moha, Matsarya. That means desire, anger, pride or arrogance, then greed, confusion and jealousy. Now let's look a little more in detail the words bhavana, natika and then sputangam praspuranti. Theatre and drama literature classifies drama, that is Rupakam, into 10 categories. In Sanskrit, the general word used for drama is Rupakam. then that is classified, and one form is known as Natakam and another form is known as Prakaranam. I am not talking about all the 10 forms. So, a mix of these two forms, Natakam and Prakaranam, usually has a female character who is born in a family of kings, Raja Parampara. She will be the heroine and dominate the story. Such a form of drama is known as Natika. And then this word Bhavana will also mean meditation. So the mention of Natika and Bhavana in the shloka means when the sadhaka meditates for a length of time, he or she will mature and evolve, and then the intellectual virtues of bhakti, shama, dama, uparati, titiksha, shraddha, samadhana, these will come to the fore. So the words sputangam praspuranti will mean when the dancer, she comes on to stage, means when the intellect starts meditating, then the ignorance of self will go away. And then the virtues like devotion, shraddha, shama, which I just mentioned, they will all get manifest. They will all come to the fore. Then the words bhavana akyam natikam chiraya natayet will mean may we all be blessed to remain steady and committed in meditation. In other words, may we gain mastery in dharana and dhyanam. This is the form of prayer. Namaste.